Hello friends, it's the Rocky Mountain Crafter here. Today I have a couple of very fun birthday cards and very colorful. I have a light here. I got this black background piece is new to me and then the reflection is real bad. So I'm putting down my paw brush cleaner by Simon Says stamp and this piece of paper to stop the reflection. And this is actually my working piece of paper. So hopefully we can make it through this video with not too much of a reflection. Hopefully it's not too annoying. If it is too annoying, let me know in the comments and I will gladly try to come up with another plan. So today we're going to be using this stencil, and the stencil is called Balloon Bunch and it's available at Simon Says Stamps. And I'm just taking some low-tack tape here and I'm taping all four sides of it to my white piece of cardstock. And I'm just trying to, I don't know if you can see in the video there, I'm just trying to catch the very edge on the left and right side there, because this is a very fine and delicate stencil. So I really don't want it to move a whole lot. And there I have my ink selection, and that is Simon Says Stamp inks. They are an alcohol-based ink, and they are in colors Sunbeam, Blush, and Ocean. And there I was just taking some ink off of the brush on the side. And here I'm going in with the Ocean, and I'm just trying to get a very light-handed brush on here, or what would you call that? Very light-handed. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm trying to go lightly. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm doing some light brushing on of the Ocean color, and I'm noticing as I'm doing this that stencil is moving just a little bit, and I really don't want it to, but it's so fine and delicate. I really couldn't help it. So just I'm going back over this top edge here. I wanted to go a little bit darker and get some real color and oomph into that space. I just felt like maybe my light-handed was just a little bit too light-handed. So there I have some color going in there. I don't know whatever possessed me to use this brown brush for teal, because I'm sure I'm going to need the brown brush at some point, but whatever. I've had the brown brush for teal since I had the brushes, so go figure. Some things make sense and some things just don't. As long as you know where everything is in your craft space, it's all good, right? Or what the reasoning is. And I've decided on this diagonal. I don't know why I decided on a diagonal either. I'm not sure the reason. I just thought it maybe looked better. But here I'm going in with the blush. And what happens here, I'm not very happy with, but in the end it turns out fine. But I'm trying to mix this blush and the Ocean and get a purple color, but it kind of mudded it up. It kind of made it more browny and a less desirable color than what I was going for. So here I'm again starting off very lightly, but then I'm trying to get a very more heavy-handed as we go, and darker, more vibrant colors as we go here. And so I'm kind of getting annoyed at that muddy part there. So I try to bring in some yellow, and now it looks really muddy. But at least when the yellow is mixing with the blue here, and the yellow is the Sunbeam. So at least when the Sunbeam is mixing with the Ocean, it's making a little bit of a green hue. You can kind of see it there. And so that makes me a little bit happy. But just that strip right in the middle that's more browny and muddy, I really wasn't happy with that. So then eventually here I get tired of trying to fix that, and I go back to putting on more blush, and it's working. I'm getting a nice dark tone of the blush going on a diagonal, and that's looking pretty good. And then I'm going in with the yellow, and I'm again trying to start off pretty light, but I feel like I have a lot on the brush, but that's okay, because that yellow turned out nice and vibrant, and it really brought some life to the color of this stenciled background, and I was very happy with the yellow. And so I don't know if you guys can pick up that the stencil's moving just tiny bit. And it's just enough to make me wonder, is when I lift up this stencil, is it going to have the balloon outline there, or is it shifting enough because it's such a fine line, or is it shifting enough that it's going to barely show at all? And they're bringing in the ocean again into that yellow, and that's making a beautiful green. And so I'm kind of feeling like we have a little bit of the rainbow effect going on here. As I'm doing this, I'm getting more and more happy with it. And both of these items, the 3 full-sized ink pads and the balloon stencil, they're available at Simon Says Stamp. But I recently bought a birthday kit, and it was available only for a limited time on Simon Says Stamp, and it literally sold out overnight. I got the email notification that it was for sale at 10 o'clock at night. I purchased it right away. I went to bed. I woke up in the morning at 7 o'clock, and I checked to see if there was any more, because my mom and I, we both craft, and she was at a wedding, and I had told her to get it, but she was busy at the wedding and she never got it. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, it was gone. It was sold out. Now here, the stencil part turned out fine, but you can see this kind of puddling or pooling of the colors underneath the stencil. I don't even have a clue as to why that happened. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to salvage that. But yeah, I was fairly happy with the way the colors of that turned out. Anyways, back to my story. Oh, this is a brand new to me guillotine cutter. And so I'm just cutting this panel out I'm trying to figure out what the best use of cutting this out is. Anyways, back to my story. So, when the, what was I saying? I'm so old. Kidding, I'm not old. I'm not that old. Who does that? Who goes into the fridge and opens up the fridge and forgets why they're there? I read something recently that it's because the aliens erased your memory. That's funny. Anyways, despite the fact that the birthday kit is sold out, that's what I was getting to. Despite that fact, you can buy these items, the stencil and the ink pads, individually from Simon Says Stamp. So they are still available through Simon Says Stamp. Everything I'm using today, with the exception of, no, I'm pretty sure everything I'm using today is available through Simon Says Stamp. That may not be where I bought it though, and I will tell you about where I bought my items as we go through. So here I'm sizing up the panel that I want, and I just opened this We Are Memory Keepers guillotine cutter. It's like a mini one. I just opened it. You saw me open the package, and already this was my first time using it, my first day using it. Love, love, love. Again, available at Simon Says Stamps. I checked online, it's in stock, so yeah, everything's good there. Now, I'm just giving this a trim, trying to decide the best use of cutting this down. And I wasn't quite happy with it, so I just wanted it a little bit smaller and went back. Now here you can see I'm not sure, I'm not getting a good cut, and it's because I wasn't holding down that plastic piece. So once I held down that plastic piece, it was cutting perfectly. It just needed to be more tight in there. So here I have a happy birthday die, and this is by Waffle Flower Stamps. Again, Waffle Flower Stamps, these stamps and stamp set, the dies and stamp set, they are available on Simon Says Stamp. I do believe one of them was out of stock, the stamp set, but you can plug in an email address and Simon Says Stamp will tell you when they're back in stock, or better yet, visit your local craft store. So that's exactly what I did. Back in the summertime, I went to craft store in Kelowna. It's not my local, but I was visiting my mom, and it's my mom's craft store, and it's called Memories and More. And that is where I bought this waffle flower stamp set, and it came with the dies. And it comes in a lovely, seriously, lovely envelope. And I show you later in the video these envelopes. They're seriously lovely. Like, there's no other way to put it. They are love, 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 love. So if ever you're in the Kelowna area, go to Memories and More. It's in West Kelowna, and they have pretty much everything under the sun there. Plus, they do classes as well. And yeah, it's just ran by a couple of very nice ladies, and it's a very fun store and everything you're looking for. Now, if you want to shout out for your store, although I've never been there, oh, but I do shop at another one. I'll tell you about that one another video, but it's not even local to me. But I tell you, their online selection is the bomb. So anyways, I'm not ready to give that one up yet because I'm not a fan of when I go to buy something and it's out of stock. So anyways, here I'm just sizing up a piece of paper so I can cut the die out. What I'm doing is I'm going to cut out the die shape of the happy birthday. And then, is that what I'm doing here? And then stamp it? Or is this, no, this is the piece of paper. Yes, prior to this, you saw me sizing up on the board here. You saw me sizing it up, the colorful piece. And here I'm cutting a piece to be exactly the same size. That's what I'm doing, because I am turning this into a shaker card. So now that I have my two pieces together, now I am going to put some acetate onto the back of that colorful piece. And before I do that, I need to stamp the words happy birthday onto the white piece. And this is where I pull out my all-in-one tool by We Are Memory Keepers. I love this thing. I'm sure you guys have heard me seen it, talk about it. So it's a stamparatus as well as a trimmer and a scorer and a tag maker and a bow maker, and it just does everything. It's called the all-in-one tool by We Are Memory Keepers. So here I'm just getting that outline perfect so that I can use my stamping platform of the all-in-one tool to stamp happy birthday. And I wanted to stamp the happy birthday in a coordinating color, and I chose to do it in the ocean. So like most stamping tools, we use them because we want perfect stamping every time. So you do see me stamp this twice. And here I'm just lining it up and making sure it's absolutely perfect. Grabbing that Ocean by Simon Says Stamp ink pad. Can you believe in that birthday kit that they sold, that sold out overnight, there was 3 full-sized ink pads? 3! Like, wow. So many ink pads. I also believe there was 2 mini brushes in there, like the blending brushes that you see me using, 2 minis, and 3 full-sized ink pads. Like, unbelievable. And you know what? I didn't have any mini brushes, so that was amazing. I needed those. So here I'm just stamping it down, and I'm using, what are those, Debbie tools? Is that what they're called? Anyways, that's a William tool because William made it for me. Yeah, that's right. My mom's husband, my stepdad, is Bill, and or William. He goes by Bill. He made it for me, so I'm calling mine the Billy. Get my Billy out. Does that mean something else? I hope not. What is a Billy? Goat? So there. I'm stamping down the happy birthday again, getting my Billy out. I'll call it my pink Billy. Does that make sense? My pink Billy. There we go. Got it. Alrighty. There, that's going to look fantastic. So it cut off when I cut out the happy birthday there on the colorful piece. It cut off that part that did the pooling, which was great because and it cut out most of the muddied part. Like you can't even tell. So I find that when I create, sometimes I'm turned off by the mistakes, but then if you just keep going and doing what you planned out to do, that your mistake sometimes disappears, as is the case here. Now I do have a later mistake that does not disappear, but I'm able to cover it up. So we'll look at that here in a few minutes. But here I'm just cutting the acetate to size and gluing it. I use my ATG tape runner to put it onto, well, here I'm using just a little bit of glue. And this glue just came in a kit that I had ordered. It's just liquid glue, nothing fancy. And here I'm using my ATG tape runner. I use this thing for everything. You know, one day I should do a video of my favorite tools, because I have favorite tools that just are ease of use. You know, they're just easy to use and they make crafting easy and fun, because things are not difficult. So I should do a video on all my favorite tools. And here I'm just adhering that acetate to that colorful piece. And then I'm putting on some 3D foam tape, because as I said, I'm making this a shaker card. So inside the 3D foam tape, I'm going to need to put some sequins or a sequin mix. And so the 3D foam tape is just going to adhere the panel to my card base, as well as keep in the sequin mix. So I have that all done now. And because I've made both of these panels the same size, I'm able to put it into my all-in-one tool and line them up perfectly, which you see me do here. So I remember here that I now have to take off the backing. Oops, should have done that first, but I'm doing it now, so that's okay. And the sequin mix that I'm using is also by Simon Says Stamp, and it's their holographic holographic rainbows. I was right. It's holographic rainbows by Simon Says Stamp. And if you don't have a tray, the back of your memento or of your Versamark, the flip side of it, makes for a great tray. And then you can just pour back from the corner, back into the little pouches or whatever you're using to hold your sequins. I do this quite often. I have trays, I just didn't know where they were. So I just use the back of my ink pad. And I just need to get all these little stray ones off of the foam tape. And once they're all in the middle, I'm able to put that backing right on. So as long as this is bumped up right up to that teal piece, so that teal piece has this bumper stopper on it that I can flip, and I can flip it if I want to, and then it's a trimmer, or I leave it like this and it's a score piece. So in this case, I'm leaving it and I'm using it to line up those two sides, the top and the right. And then if I line up that backing piece of paper with happy birthday on it, it just all lines up perfectly. And there it is. Beautiful. Happy birthday shaker card. And so here I am, a little in love with this card and playing with it and looking at it and playing with it and looking at it and playing with it and looking at it before I decide to put it onto a card base. And that's what I'm doing here. Here I guess I'm trying to get the reflection to not be so bad for you guys, but then I grab a card base and, well, I guess I was supposed to probably delete this part of the video because there's not a whole lot going on here, but that's okay. Talking to you guys is fun. Oh, look, there's a card base. So now that I have a card base, I just am getting out my bone folder, which I do believe is actual bone. Like, it's the color of bone and it actually looks like bone. And I don't know which company sold this to me, but I'm super impressed with it. And I'm just putting the card onto my card base. Now, when all this is said and done, I noticed that the right side of my card was a little bit longer, so I just trimmed a little bit off. And with my brand new guillotine trimmer by We Are Memory Keepers that is sold by Simon Says Stamp, I didn't know if it was going to fit under that plastic piece because it's got a little bit of 3D to it, but it fit under there just fine. No problem at all. It's nice to just have a little guillotine cutter right on my desktop like that. Otherwise, I was walking over to another table to my big one every time I needed to cut something. So this was awesome. And there we are, me being so happy about my card that turned out beautifully. Now, if you remember, I cut out a die with a die, the happy birthday die, that colorful piece. Well, I wanted to use that. So here I am resurrecting that piece. And what I decide I'm going to do is emboss it. So I'm going to emboss it with black embossing powder. So I'm just getting, what am I doing? Thinking about it. Yes, I know what I'm doing here. I'm cutting a piece of paper small enough to go through my little die machine because the way that I line this up to emboss it is all on my all-in-one tool. And so I just cut out the die and then I put it into my all-in-one tool, that outline piece in white. And then I put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the happy birthday colorful piece. And I set it inside of that. And then I line the stamp up. See, there I am setting it inside. And then I line the stamp up on top of that. And then I pick it up with the platform, the stamping platform, and then I use Versamark on it twice. And then I'm going to emboss it with black. I went with black this time. The other card was very, very white, and this one I decided to have some black to it would be nice. Make those colors pop. And so now that I've got the Versamark on there, I'm putting the embossing powder on there, and this is just by Wow. It's a very fine black embossing powder by Wow. And then I just flick it off, pick it up with the tweezers, flick some off right there, and then I flicked a little too much off, so I had to put a little more back on, and then I look for a good spot to hold it with so I can use my heat tool on it. And I grabbed that little tiny spot, but then I saw a nice bigger spot that I could use right there. So I used that one instead. And here I just used my heat tool. I tell you, I don't know what I did, how I did it, but after I used my heat tool here, I looked around and there was embossing powder everywhere. I don't know when I might have sprayed that tray of embossing powder, but it was literally everywhere. And I was not happy about it. But I cleaned it up anyway. Okay, this is some holographic paper by Simon Says Stamp, holographic cardstock. And I thought that these just went stunningly together. And these are happy birthday sentiments. And sentiment strips, happy birthday sentiment strips. They also came in that birthday kit. It's unbelievable, all the stuff that came in that birthday kit. Unbelievable. It sold out overnight for a reason. It was amazing. Okay, so then I decide on the strip that I want. And I'm just cutting it out here with my brand new guillotine cutter. I love this thing. It's right on my desk. It's easy. It's amazing. I love it. Love, 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 love. All the little tools that I have, like I said, I'm going to have to do my favorite tool video for you guys because I just have so many things that make life easy. All right, I just wanted to cut this panel down just a little bit because in the end, I'm going to put it onto a 5.5 by 4.25 white card base. So I wanted this smaller than that. So I went with 1/2 inch smaller on two sides. So I went with 3 3/4 by 5 is what this card stock holographic rainbow piece ended up being. And here I'm just putting some pop dots on that happy birthday. Oh, you get to see my garbage. Here's another one of my favorite tools. So that is a pop-up garbage can. I love it. I use it all the time. It just sits on my desk. I empty it when I'm done. Everything's at reach of, just close reach. Don't have to reach real far to a garbage can. Now, these sentiment strips, you can actually foil on these, which is really cool. So you can foil on them and have put them through your laminator with some foil, and they'll turn to whatever color your foil is. But they have white lettering here, and I just didn't like the white. I just felt like it just didn't go. It needed the color. So I'm taking again that ocean and just coloring, just blending on whatever ink was left on the blending brush. That's all I'm using, just to make those words be ocean colored instead of white. And it was that quick. Oh, that looks good. Now, I didn't like that my fingerprints are getting all over here. And off camera, what you don't see me do is shine it up better. So if you are working with this holographic cardstock, just be very careful, because as you can see, it really likes to pick up fingerprints. And so this says, happy birthday, I'll bring the cake. You bring your face. I love that. I thought that's so cute and so fun. In these days of COVID, who doesn't miss everybody's face? Can't see anybody. Everything's locked down. So that was just real fun to think of seeing somebody that you are fond of. I really like that idea. So I'm just checking to see how this is going to look. Then I put my two-sided tape on it and I adhere it to the card base. And it's just so fun and bright. And then I decided, do you see the bottom left corner? It got bent. So that's why the color down there is a little bit different, because it has a little bend in it. So it's not picking up the light the same as the rest of the card panel. So I'm trying to cover it up. This is the boo-boo I was telling you guys about. So I'm using a Rainbow Sequin Mix by Simon Says Stamp. And I'm just trying to get the placement here of the sequins to where I like them. And it's this the sequin mix is called Holographic Rainbows. And so I'm happy with this placement. Now I'm getting out the glue. And the glue wouldn't come out, so then I got to put some on paper. And then it's awkward to try to push with my left hand, so I push with my right hand and then back to my left hand. It's kind of like musical glue. Instead of musical chairs, I'm playing musical glue. One hand, the other hand, one hand, the other hand. Anyways, so finally I got it worked out here. And I'm putting on my sequins. And what I do is in that bottom left corner, because it's mostly orange, I try to pick an orange one. And then the one up from it's kind of yellow, so I pick a yellow one. And the one up from that's blue or green, so I pick green. It was green. Then blue and then purple. So I try to pick colors that coordinate with the colors of the paper, so they're there but less noticeable. And that is the second card. Now here's the waffle flower envelopes that I was talking about. And what I forget to show you guys, but so it comes with these envelopes, which are like quality. I cannot express to you enough about this quality of these. And there's a little pocket. I forget to show you guys it, but there's a pocket for the dies and a separate pocket for the stamps. Like, they're just amazing. I love them. Anyways, way to go, Waffle Flower. I am totally impressed by those. That's my only Waffle Flower set, by the way. Anyways, here's the two finished cards. And I know this was a longer video, but we made two cards, and they're both stunners. Look at those. One's a shaker, a fun shaker card, and one has that super cute sentiment. I'll bring the cake, you bring your face. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for being with me. And if you like this video, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Bye-bye.